You want to protect your money, put it in an insurance company. You want to grow your money, put it in an investment company. You want easy access to your money, put it in a bank. By the way, if I'm not wrong, I learned this in geography back in the days. A bank is a small place in a river that that has some water left at the end when the river dries out.
A riverbank.
It's called a river bank, right? So it's just a reserve. If I go to a bank, I open a bank and I'm truly financially literate, you know what I do? I put just a reserve, something that sustain me for 3 to 6 months, not more than that. Other money has to be saved and invested somewhere else. So if I address your question about the TFSA and RSP, these are basically vehicles that you can put money in Canada. I don't know if Isaac has.
But also you can put and invest. I tell if something is not cooked in the stove, is in the fridge. So that means the chicken is something cooked that ready to eat.
Right.
The saving is something in the fridge. So they are like the same thing. There's no aspirin as pro. They're the same thing. But when it comes to all TFSAs, ROSPs, first home account, these are accounts with purpose. That means you can actually put money in there, save and invest at the same time. You can be saving $100 to your TFSA, save and invest. You can put 200, 300 for your RSP or FSHA for your retirement or first home. You can save and invest, but the regular saving account is just it's like a fridge and a stove. There's nothing. It's just there for temporary use. You keep it there frozen, you tank it, you use it. That's why Philemon says 3 to 6 months. You don't keep them for so long. It's not that those are accounts that are ready to spend. But when you have TFSA or other, let's say if you have 50,000 in TFSA that you don't see, right? You operate based on what is in checking and saving.
Right.
Or if you have a RSP 300,000, you operate based on the 10,000 that you have in your bank account. But usually, people when they see a lot of money saved in the bank account, they get complacent. The spending habit increase. One day you wake up and you just blow up 10,000 for a couch, maybe, and you come home, there's no money. But if the money is away from you, one is when it goes every month with the paying yourself strategy, automatically it's accumulating, and you don't say. One time I was talking to this guy, like I was telling him, listen, like we need to save. And he started saving 100 a week. And he's all like, Isaac, I don't have that much money in my bank account. And it grew some good amount. I said, correct. But I was doing this way. I tell him because you cannot control. This saving and checking is for you for a basic use. That's why bank now, they call it saving. But I would call it mini checking. It's the same thing. Because nothing restricts you from spending. You can just put it, take it there, and use it. So those accounts are like, they're just like a friend's account.
I do remember, I just want to add something to it. I do remember when I came to the country, I made a financial advisor, which is an insurance agent at that time. He told me, you need to automate your saving. I said, how do I do that? And when I start working at a regular job, and the guy opened the $25 monthly, contribution for me. And what I learned throughout the years, though, it's not how much you put in, it's how consistent and disciplined you are. But you can increase it over time as your financial situation gets better. For me, when I was new, it was, you work at a minimum job, minimum paying job.
Yeah.
You can't save a lot because you have bills to pay, you're new, you need a car, and you need to navigate through the city. Basically, you lived in a negative 40 degrees country. You come to a plus
Positive.
40 degrees, you come to a negative 40 degrees.
Right.
You need to change, your dressing code too.
I thought there was snow in Sudan.
That's correct. So got you. So okay, thank you. There is this questions that people ask. The question is, they say some people from a quarter used to say that. Once told me that a friend, he said, I went to this advisor and he was talking to me about education account for children.
Yeah.
That there's this education account for children, and then and he said, what do I need it for? What do I need this education, this info? Of course, in the system where we in Canada, there's always a loan that children go to school. So, what as an advisor, what is the purpose? Why should a person open such a savings account, educational savings support or whatever. I don't know. You know it in your terms. The educational account for the children, would it serve a family over time?
I mean, I'm not anti academic education, but I've been there.
Right.
So a person who never went to for example, a college or university, they think that's a solution for a successful life. I have a child. If I don't want to send a child to school, I can basically homeschool them at home and teach them principles of wealth, principles of money, leadership, and business. And I never send them to school, so that account might not be applicable to me.
Okay.
So this is not an advice to anyone, but see what you want for your child, because you are the father, you are the mother, and you lead the child from A to Z. So, for example, we need doctors in this country for sure. We need accountant. We need construction workers. If I have to drive on Toronto Highway, somebody has to construct the road, right? So school is not for everybody, but the account is a great tool. For example, my child has an account. If I put certain dollars in it, and I get some matching from the government, they usually say about 20% with some limitations. But see, it's a great tool to put something, to get something from the government. The government basically is encouraging you to save for a child's future. But let's say, for example, I'm a 55 years old and I have a 4-year-old son and I'm approaching retirement in 10 years. It might not make sense to me to save for my child now, because my child can borrow to go to school. As you said, there is a borrowing power here. You can borrow to go to school. So I'm more concerned about my retirement, my health down the road than my child. Because to be honest, if I come to Canada when I'm 55 years old, who has more chance of borrowing and building, myself or my son? If I'm a regular person working at a job, for example, okay, my son would have a better opportunity, to borrow and pursue education. So the account is a great tool for a child, but you need to see what you need.
I understand you, but I may have to rephrase this question, because I think there's some, as an advisor, because this is what an advisor recommend. You recommend to somebody who has young children to 5 years, 10 years, and you would recommend it to them for this educational support fund. What would you tell the people? Explain somebody that this is the reason, this is what the help it's supposed to for the RASP. What's the purpose that this RASP or what is supposed to serve in the family for that child?
Yeah, so it can be done two ways. It can be the RESP, the conventional way. It can be also done through an insurance way, depending on how you want it for your kids. They may actually end up in business or other things. So the purpose should not be only education, but as a parent, and also if your priority is to have a better generation down the road, school is important, and also you need to give head start for your kids. So let's say if you come with no dollars in Canada, you should not punish your child the same thing, that I didn't come with no dollars, so you should start with no dollar. It doesn't make no sense. Well, let's say if you struggle to buy your first car, it doesn't matter like how he does with the money, the child. I would want to give him the test of having stuff, the test of owning stuff. So he will have that test and he will go make it. You know what they say? The study shows that any child that experiences a wealthy family until age 14, it can mess up his life, but they say he will come back to become a rich person down the road. So that means, a lot of times they say they will spend it anyways, right? But even if having it and spending is different than borrowing and spending it. Mm-hmm. Because when you test having things, you understand the value. The next time you want to feel the same thing, that you want to come back. So you work hard, you figure out a way. Sometimes as a parent, you have a reason to head start. But if you come poor, you should not press the same thing to the children. Give them head start, even if they may not use it properly. But your contribution, I was telling earlier, Fremont, contribution never stays unrecognized. Telling you.
Correct.
You can say so much stuff for your child, says, I love it, but contribution never stays unrecognized. Whatever you do, if you contribute, bam.
They will recognize.
Does-
Yes, they will
does
recognize that.
the savings for a child, does it help a child to go to school free, or does if a person, a parent saved for their child,
Yeah, so
does it now help this child when he gets there, instead of taking the loan, that this child can now
Correct.
go to school?
Correct, yeah.
That's exactly what it is,
Correct.
because we're looking at what is it going to, right? The essence for why somebody is saving.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Let's say if I say for my child, he reached an age, he's going to school. Guess he chose the right career, and his school is paid off, right? Paid off, 4 years finished. Let's say if he got a job or he got a business, 4 years from now, he's thinking immediately, oh, I should probably get a house now, right? Because the amount of he's making, he's not servicing no debt.
Right.
He's servicing, he's saving.
Correct.
So no one is calling him. So he can stay home, right? Maybe he said, oh, I have business idea. I owe no money, so I have time to think right now. So usually people are early pushed out to the market, to the job markets, because not because they want some of them, they have great ideas, but the thing is, let me take care of this, let me take care of that, you know? Or sometimes they change a lot of majors during school time, so they owe a lot of money. So the minute that you get out from school, they start calling, you start to paying. If you don't pay, you mess up your credit. You want to save your credit. Boom, you're in the market. You're somewhere driving a truck or something. You're in the highway. Life never comes back. So the thing is, what it avoids confusion early in life. If you can, you know, pass the thing. Let's say even if they want to start a business or other things that not only, I don't want to emphasize on the idea of only school, because it's like I cannot tell someone that I don't really do, but you can go to school, but during your career, that thing that you give is head start for the child. You tell them, this is my contribution to you in the future. You know, education is one of the things that exposes people to understanding things.
The question, yes, I just wanted to get a clarity on it. Does if the savings plan, does it help pay off, like education, or just as support?
It depends how much. It depends how much you're saving.
I mean, let's say, for example.
Yes, it's a support to the child when he gets to that stage. Like we're looking at somebody who wants his child to go to school. We're not looking at our personality. We're looking at a client who wants his child to go to school, and then what is this education for to support when he gets to the time, like a university and something like, or he gives him a part of it. Okay, take this and then I support you, or would it be able to pay off and without that kid having to take the loan?
I think we should round that thing up, and I'll say, Freeman, I'll give it to you. So we should say, let's say you saved your son to become an engineer.
Right.
He needs 60,000. But your son says, Dad, you know what? I think I'll go to medical school. That 60,000 is not going nowhere.
Okay.
So that will be a supplement. Or you put that and it says, Dad, you know what? I'm going to trade school. I just need 5,000.
Okay.
So that 60,000 is left over there.
Okay.
So it depends which route you go. Let's say you have 100,000, you want to buy a house, right? You may end up buying a condo, because that's the thing. That's what you have. But in school system, you may ask for more loan, more than what you saved. So sometimes if you go for lower schools, right, it may pay off, right? What you saved, it may pay off. But if you go for higher, something different,
Okay.
it may end up being a supplement, not even.
Thank you.
I mean, let me add on what Isaac said. Isaac said you set up your child. I have a different perspective on children nowadays. My parents kind of forced me to go to school for one reason. Out of all the siblings, none of them finished, university. So they always had this dream: who is going to be the one that finishes school? And I just did it to please them. So I'm not gonna set up something for my child. You gotta become an engineer. You gotta become a doctor. But I'm gonna do this: create a culture that your child can grow since at a young age. Expose them to leadership, expose them to businesses, expose them to podcasts, expose them to reading. For example, I have a habit at home that we don't have TV.
In your home?
Yeah, I don't have a television at home.
Currently?
Yeah, it doesn't mean it costs as much, but it costs us to watch it. So, but I have a lot of books. So I want my kids to inherit the habit of reading. English is not my first language. So I need to practice on a daily basis because I live in an English country now. So to address your question on the educational part, by the way, this is a great country. Canada is a great country. The child can get, they can get some scholarship awards if they're smart enough in school. They can volunteer to get some awards from school.
College
From
coaching.
college coaching. There's so much resources in this country if a person works at it intentionally to get some. Isaac mentioned any contribution will always be recognized. True. If you save something for your child and you encourage them and you say, hey, baby, I saved this for you. Hey, son, hey, daughter, I saved this amount for you. I'm saving this. The child will have hope that my dad or my mom is preparing something great for me. So if you have the means to save for yourself and including your children, fantastic.
Wow.
Let's do it.
Contribution compounds.
Okay, thanks. That's bad. I think we cleared that because I know there's a lot of curiosity for people to understand that topic. That was why it took us a little bit of time.